Know the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed.
Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. The government may consider further easing of some restrictions in the National Capital Region Plus bubble as trends continue to improve in most parts of Metro Manila, Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna, and Rizal, according to Octa Research Fellow Dr. Guido David. These areas are under heightened general community quarantine status until May 31. David said that the coronavirus disease risk classification of NCR has been downgraded to moderate risk from high risk due to a downtrend in COVID cases. Over the past week, Metro Manila's 7-day average of new cases has decreased to less than 1,100. However, David said that while the situation is improving in NCR Plus, Octa has observed a spike in COVID-19 cases in local government units outside NCR. David said lax border restrictions could be one of the factors that led to the spike in cases in these cities. Octa has been pushing for the vaccination of 50% of high-risk areas, which include the cities of Tuguegarao, Santiago, Baguio, Cainta, Cebu, and Imus, including Metro Manila, to achieve herd containment. He said 50% is good enough, like in Israel, that has since gone back to a semblance of the old normal. But in the case of the Philippines, David stressed that we need to target a number as high as 75% in order to achieve herd immunity. As some countries plan to reopen borders to fully vaccinated travelers, the government is hoping the brand of the vaccine would not matter in global travel. According to presidential spokesman Harry Roque, there was no basis for any discrimination on the vaccine brands taken by international travelers, especially if these have secured approval from global health authorities. Roque was reacting to reports that some European countries were considering barring the entry of travelers vaccinated with Chinese-made vaccines. The European Union reportedly plans to ease travel restrictions and allow fully vaccinated visitors to the 27-nation bloc. Non-essential travel to the EU has been prohibited since March last year. Reports said under the proposed new rules, travelers who receive the EU-approved vaccines, such as those made by Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, and Johnson & Johnson, could enter the bloc. An EU member nation could also decide if it will admit travelers vaccinated with those approved by WHO. The proposed travel measures have yet to be approved by the EU authorities. In the Philippines, the government's pandemic task force has already created a small group to study and formulate new protocols for the inbound international travel of fully vaccinated individuals. The study group will be chaired by the Department of Tourism and co-chaired by the Department of Foreign Affairs. At present, the government requires all travelers, regardless of vaccination status, to undergo quarantine for 14 days upon arrival in the country. The first 10 days shall be observed in a quarantine facility, with the remainder to be completed under home quarantine in their respective local government units of destination. Incoming passengers are also required to take a RT-PCR test on the 7th day of quarantine. The facility-based quarantine must be completed regardless of a negative test results. The Metro Manila mayors are investigating the reported selling of COVID-19 vaccines and offering of vaccination slots by unscrupulous individuals or groups. In a text message, Mayor Edwin Olivares, who is also chairman of the MMC, said the local government units in Metro Manila have already issued their statements on the matter. Olivares stressed that on his May 22 statement, the vaccines are being administered for free to all eligible city residents. He said that selling vaccines is illegal as these were procured by the government and are given for free. The mayor said the Food and Drug Administration has not approved the marketing or sale of COVID-19 vaccines. Olivares also said there were reports that the vaccines were being sold from 10,000 to 15,000 pesos depending on the brand. He warned that those who would be caught selling COVID-19 vaccines will face the full force of the law. To avoid such an incident in the city, Olivares said that they also implemented a no SMS text, no entry policy at their vaccination sites. More than half of Filipino adults have expressed confidence in the government's evaluation of the vaccines against the COVID-19, according to the Social Weather Station's survey issued Thursday, May 20. According to SWS, 51% of Filipino adults have indicated that they are confident about the government's evaluation of the COVID-19 vaccines. Of this figure, 18% of the respondents said that they are very confident, and 34% indicated that they are somewhat confident. Those who have expressed confidence are highest in Mindanao with 58%, followed by the Visayas with 55%, Metro Manila with 49%, and the balance of Luzon with 47%. The results of the nationwide poll showed that 17% of the respondents said they are not confident of the review, with 12% of them saying that they are somewhat not confident, while 5% are not at all confident. On the other hand, 31% of the respondents answered that they are uncertain of the government's vaccine evaluation. The first quarter 2021 Social Weather Survey was conducted from April 28 to May 2 using face-to-face interviews of 1,200 adults aged 18 years old and above nationwide. In Metro News, Manila bans sale of COVID-19 vaccines, violators to face fine and imprisonment. Parañaque City launches mobile vaccination program, and pool party and drinking sessions cause COVID-19 transmission in a Quezon City village. More from these reports.
The Manila City Government has issued an ordinance prohibiting the sale of COVID-19 vaccines in the city amid reports on an alleged vaccine fee scheme in some metro cities. Mayor Francisco Esco Moreno Dumagoso on Monday signed Ordinance Number 8740, which will take effect immediately, prohibits any person, institution, corporation, and group from distributing or administering of COVID-19 vaccine for gain, income, and profit. Under the ordinance, the sale of vaccines in the city will not be allowed while the country is in the state of emergency and without full market authorization issued by the Food and Drug Administration. Dumagoso said the caught violating the ordinance will be fined 5,000 pesos and will face imprisonment not exceeding 6 months. Business licenses of corporation and other entities will be involved in distributing vaccines for profit will be immediately revoked. The Parañaque City Government launched on Saturday the Mobile Vaccination Program or MVP as part of the ongoing efforts to protect the residents against COVID-19. Eva Nono, Chief of the Parañaque External and Homeowners Affairs, said Mayor Edwin Olivares created a team that will go down to villages and subdivisions to vaccinate residents belonging to the vulnerable sectors. She said the team will particularly go down to areas with a high number of COVID-19 cases. Mayor Olivares said the MVP team is led by Hospital ng Parañaque and being supported by Parañaque External and Homeowners Affairs and other personnel from various offices and departments of the city government. A total of 54 individuals tested positive for COVID-19 after an improvised pool party and drinking sessions were organized by residents of Barangay Nagkaisang Nayon in Quezon City from May 9 to May 11. According to Mayor Joy Belmonte, the improvised pool party was arranged by the residents on Mother's Day. However, Barangay Chairman Feliciano de la Cruz clarified that the water of the improvised pool did not come from the fire truck of the barangay. Mayor Joy Belmonte said all residents who organize and join the said gatherings will be issued with ordinance violation receipt for defying health protocols. Mayor Belmonte also issued a show cause order to Barangay Chairman Feliciano de la Cruz and will file appropriate charges against the Homeowners Association president and all individuals responsible for the said gatherings.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. 124 tons of garbage collected in critical Central Luzon water bodies. Siquijor's beef considered an exceptional meat source. And Kidapawan Mayor mulls placing the city under ECQ. Let's check out the details.
More than 124 tons of garbage were collected by the Department of Environment and Natural Resources during a recent cleanup drive in critical water bodies in Bataan, Bulacan, and Pampanga. In a Facebook post, DENR Central Luzon Executive Director Paquito Moreno Jr. said 125 floating trash traps were strategically installed in rivers and streams to reduce the volume of solid wastes directly flowing to the greater portion of the Manila Bay. The trash trapping initiative aims to reduce the volume of plastic waste in water bodies apart from curbing single-use plastics, candy wrappers, containers, and other pollutants from entering waterways and flowing downstream. Since the Manila Bay Rehabilitation Program started on January 2019, more than 4,300 tons of biodegradable, residual, recyclable, and hazardous wastes have been collected in Central Luzon. Exceptional, very healthy, high quality. These were the words that best describe Siquijor's native beef cattle as shown in the study conducted by the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. The study showed that Bos taurus, which is the native cattle population of Siquijor Island, are known to have genes for marbling and milk production. With this, Siquijor's native cattle can also be utilized for good quality milk. The UPLB study also said that Siquijor native cattle stands out as a distinct type due to their low genetic relationship with other native cattle in the country. Because it is grass-fed cattle meat, it is not just premium and high-quality beef, but its meat is also excellent for health. As the province received financial backing from the DOST for its native beef processing project, the local government unit of Siquijor assured that they will boost their native cattle reproduction. Kidapawan City Mayor Joseph Evangelista is considering placing the entire city of 40 villages under Enhanced Community Quarantine or ECQ to curb the rising cases of COVID-19 infections. The city, now under Modified General Community Quarantine, has recorded 39 new infections as of Monday afternoon. To date, the total confirmed COVID-19 cases in Kidapawan reached the 100 mark, where about 60% of whom are asymptomatic. Evangelista said that the city needs everybody's cooperation aside from complying with the minimum health protocols. He also urged residents to avoid mass gatherings like parties, wake, or any occasions where a huge number of people gather. He added that all isolation and quarantine facilities in the city are about 83% full.
In world news, Biden and Putin likely to hold summit in Geneva. Denmark to donate 3 million COVID vaccines to COVAX. And mild COVID-19 induces lasting antibody protection according to a study. Details in these reports.
US President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin will likely hold a summit in Geneva in June, US media reported on Monday. The reports came as the National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan held consultations with his Russian counterpart Nikolai Patrushev. The meeting was an important step in the preparation for a planned US-Russia summit, the date and location of which will be announced later, the White House said in a statement on Monday. The sides agreed that normalization of US-Russian relations would be in the interest of both countries and contribute to global predictability and stability. Relations between Washington and Moscow have been adversarial in recent years. The two sides have obvious differences on issues related to Ukraine, cybersecurity, human rights, and US election interference. Denmark plans to donate 3 million COVID-19 doses to developing countries this year through the COVAX Global Sharing Scheme. Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said on Monday the Scandinavian country was the first in Europe to discontinue the use of the vaccines made by the AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson due to concerns about the rare but serious form of blood clots, but has since made both shots available to volunteers. The country is using the Pfizer-BioNTech and Moderna jobs in its vaccine program. Frederiksen said meanwhile that she expected EU heads of state and government to agree at the summit to donate a total of 100 million COVID vaccines to COVAX facility. Months after recovering from mild cases of COVID-19, people still have immune cells in their body pumping out antibodies against the virus that caused COVID-19, and such cells could persist for a lifetime, according to a study from Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis. To find out whether those have recovered from mild case of COVID-19 harbor long-lived plasma cells that produce antibodies specifically targeted to SARS-CoV-2, the COVID that causes COVID-19, the researchers started on a project to track antibodies levels in blood samples from COVID-19 survivors. People who were infected and never had symptoms also may be left with long-lasting immunity. The researchers speculated, but it's yet to be investigated whether those who endured more severe infection would be protected against a future bout of disease. The researchers now are studying whether vaccination also induces long-lived antibodies-producing cells. The findings were published Monday in the journal Nature.
In entertainment, Filipinos around the world are excited for the premiere of Trese, a Filipino graphic novel that was picked up by Netflix to turn into an animated series. Things got more exciting as Netflix recently announced an all-Filipino voice actors to give life to Trese's characters. Let's find out who they are in this report.
Filipino graphic novel Trese, created by Budget Tan and Kadjo Baldissimo, will hit Netflix soon. Pinoys around the world are excited as Trese will also be featuring an all-Filipino voiced cast. Leading the cast are Shay Mitchell and Liza Soberano, who will lend their voice to Alexandra Trese. Mitchell will provide Alexandra's voice for the English version, while Soberano will take over the Filipino version of the series. Apart from Mitchell and Soberano, Filipino-American actor Darren Criss, who is known for his roles in Glee and the assassination of Gianni Versace American Crime Story, will lend his voice to Marco. Stage great John Briones voices the characters of Hank and Samuel. Pussycat doll Nicole Scherzinger will lend her voice to Miranda Trese, the mother of Alexandra. Filipino-Canadian actor Manny Jacinto, known most for his work on The Good Place, is giving life to Maliksi. Then there's Philippine-born American actor Lou Diamond Phillips of La Bamba fame, who will voice the character of Mayor Sancho Santamaria. Filipino-American actor Dante Basco is also part of the series as the voice of Bagyon Kulimlim. Meanwhile, on the Filipino version side of the series, Soberano will be joined by Simon de la Cruz as Crispin and Basilio, Apollo Abraham as Captain Guerrero, Christopher Carlo Caling as Hank, Christian Velarde as Nuno, Brian Encarnacion as Datu Talagbusaw, and Eugene Adalia as Anton Trese. The series will also feature the original song Paagi by the Filipino band Up Dharma Down. Trese will have its premiere on Netflix on June 11.
In sports, Jordan Clarkson fulfilled his goal of winning the NBA Sixth Man of the Year award, but not before getting a big surprise from the man he beat for the award. Clarkson and Utah Jazz teammate Joe Ingles were in the middle of an interview when the latter brought out and personally handed the Sixth Man of the Year trophy to the Phil American Super Sub. It was the first major individual award for Clarkson, who found his niche in Salt Lake City after stints with the Los Angeles Lakers and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Clarkson earned the nod of sports writers and broadcasters by receiving 65 first-place votes and 407 total points, while Ingles came in second with 272 points. The two shared a warm embrace, showing how supportive was Ingles, who came to the interview wearing a gray Clarkson shirt. And those are the news on Web today, May 25, 2021. For more news and details, get your copy of the Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow, or you can log on to www.mb.com.ph, or you may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link on this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.